Hey, good buddies, welcome into the Good Buddies Anime Review. I am your good buddy, Roger.
And I'm your good buddy, Brandon.
And this week, we are reviewing Land of the Lustrous.
Yes, we are. So lustrous, so luxurious, so sparkly and beautiful.
So full of gems.
Full of gems.
Or jewels.
So round, so firm, so full
Precious
of packed.
stones.
This guy. So, Roger, this here little show we're about to do, we're going to give us a review on this anime. Not just any review, a review specifically of recommendation.
Right.
Would we recommend this here anime we about to break down?
Absolutely.
So, we could give it one of 5 different scores based on a recommendation, Roger. And let me ask you, if this anime was just straight up boo-boo garbage, what would you call it?
Oh, that would be an anime, maybe not.
What if it was, it's not great, but...
Anime.
What if it was pretty average? It was fine.
Anime, maybe.
And, you know, it's actually pretty decent, though.
Animo's definitely there.
But if it was great, if it was damn near perfect...
My dude, that is an animazing.
And the way we're going to get to that final score is we're going to give it a star rating on 10 stars, each of 5 different categories with a possible 2 stars each. We can do a little half star, 1.5, etc., etc. But, Roger, what's our first category for that one?
The story and setting.
And what is our second category for that one?
The characters and development.
And what is our third category?
The art and animation.
Number 4, Roger.
Soundtrack.
And finally, that Good Buddies Virgo room, what is number 5?
The je ne sais quoi.
The je ne sais quoi. Roger, what does that mean?
I don't know what.
I don't know what. And that's how we're going to do it, and we're going to get into it right in a second, right after I say, hell yeah, we got it in 2.
Yeah,
we did
that's
have
a
to
much
restart.
better take.
We had to restart because we
Buddies,
messed it up so
I got
bad.
a sniffly nose that is driving me up a wall.
It's real cold today. You might have a little sniffle
It was
on.
sleeting, dude.
It was straight up sleeting. I got a little
crazy.
snow flurry here in Waco, Texas.
But this is not
snowing in Waco.
the Central Texas Weather Podcast.
I am a meteorologist. Let's go on. But
let's talk about some Land of the
talk about
Lustrous.
Land of the Lustrous.
A very pretty anime.
very, very pleasant to look at. Do you want to do the summary? You want me to hit him with it?
You can hit him with the summary.
Here's what I wrote down. Just a quick. Here's the elevator pitch.
I'm glad I gave it to you. You wrote something down.
Here's the 10-second pitch. This is in what might be the distant future on what might be Earth on an oddly, fun little island. We have these several humanoid creatures. They appear to be human, but they are not. They are named after, based on, and resembling gemstones and minerals. And they battle these strange beings, apparently from the moon, called the Luminarians, or Luminarians, which are these wild-looking, just rad-looking things that come from the moon. They want to break them down into their little gem pieces and take them and use them as jewelry or something.
They look like them Buddhas and Shivas and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's wild-looking, man. They are aided and taught by the incredibly powerful and maybe human, I don't know what this guy's deal is, but he is Sensei Kongo, who is the only one who appears to have, like, a defined gender, but even then, I don't think they call him he.
And I believe the island they live on is called the Country of Jewels.
Sounds about right. Something like that. It might have been in the manga, I don't know. But yeah, based on a manga, really interesting show. If you've seen any of the manga, it has been described as kind of hard to follow without color coding because it is all mostly black and white. But
I could see this being confusing.
Yeah,
as a book.
Very much so. But also, it's been lauded for how cool this art looks, and I've seen some pages from it. It's freaking beautiful, which is one reason why we'll get into the art and animation, but it's one reason why making it fully CG works so well. Because some of the stuff they do in that show, in that manga, rather, I can't imagine translating properly to a 2D animated program. Sure. But we'll get into all of that. First, we're going to talk about the story and setting. Roger, you want to tell us about story and setting?
Yeah, man. So the story follows Phos.
Mostly.
And so I'm going to try my very best to avoid saying the names of these stones in
Phosphophylite.
Yeah, phosphophylite.
Seamonsters. Anemone.
Cinnamon.
Phosphophylite, which is a pretty rare, like, pale green gem. Yeah.
So you have all of these beings that are of these different precious stones and stuff like that, and they all have different hardnesses. They
go by the Mohs scale.
Yeah, some of them shatter easily, some of them don't. Some of them are like diamond. It's very, very hard.
And yeah, diamonds are also very brittle because they're so hard.
Right.
That's like a whole thing.
So we have Fos, who is fairly weak. She is actually, I think, one of the weakest on the team.
She's the second weakest. They're tied for being one of the weakest, and Fos is for sure the youngest of all of them.
Yeah, she's only 300 years old.
Which is pretty young. A real baby.
These beings are immortal.
We're gonna slip up a lot on this. Let's just say it now. They are all technically genderless. We both just called Fos she.
Did I?
Yes, we both did. We both did.
Oh man, I think you threw me off because I was working really hard not to do it.
But they are genderless. They are all voiced by women, so it's something that's not too hard to slip up on. They also like, it's one of those where like you really don't know, because they also in the manga and in all the translations, they are referred to as they or specifically by their names. They're never called any gendered pronouns.
Yep.
They do have some big round booties.
They do.
Yeah.
They sure do. They went ham on them butts, dude.
Dude can have a big old round booty too. I saw the AEW thing. I saw Sunny Kiss. Damn.
Yeah.
But let's continue.
Yeah. So Fos is tasked. She's not a good fighter.
You did again.
Damn it. Fos is not a good fighter.
Every time we got to call each other out. It's gonna be great.
Okay. They're tasked to start compiling like a encyclopedia, a history of the area. And different studies from the Luminarians coming down and different features to kind of compile their history together.
Which Fos sees, perhaps rightly, as busy work because Fos is not particularly strong, very weak.
She wants to be on the battlefield, but she...
Did it again.
Dang it.
Twice right then, bud.
They want to be on the battlefield, but they can't because they break too easily, and it takes resources to put them back together again.
It does indeed.
And so they discover, trying to figure some of the stuff out, they find Cinnabar. They're directed to Cinnabar, who is toxic to the other beings.
Cinnabar, which is known is a stone which can be refined into mercury, which is what Cinnabar's whole deal is. Cinnabar basically constantly have these little globules of stuff floating around them.
Globbies.
If any of it gets on one of the gems, they have to chip that away. And chipping stuff away is a big deal for them because while they can be reformed and put back together from their shattered pieces, and you will see a decent amount of gems get shattered in this thing and put back together. If something has to be chipped away and it is no longer part of them, then they can lose bits of themselves, notably their memories.
Yep.
Yes. They also have these little, apparently some kind of little microorganisms living in them, which are what retains all this information and power and stuff.
Yeah. Now, upon meeting Cinnabar, Fos feels a certain amount of guilt.
Yes.
Because Cinnabar is stuck out there doing night watch because Cinnabar can't be around anybody else.
Yeah, it's not in itself imposed, we should say, because Cinnabar didn't want to be around anyone knowing that they were like so toxic to everybody.
And Fos makes it...
It's a lonely, painful life. Very grimdark.
Fos makes it their job to...
Emo, one might say.
Yeah, to find a better job for Cinnabar.
And let's just say this now. That whole plot point takes a pretty fucking huge backseat to everything else that happens in this show.
But that's where
I'm
we start
talking
out.
Way in the back, straight Rosa Parks. Happy Black History Month. Go on. Had to get my one in.
So as Fos gathers information, kind of poorly, they're not very good at it. Ha! I'm not getting called on that one. I got it. I caught it.
They fine.
They suck at that job.
Yeah, they do.
And Fos is really good at messing everything up, and that's kind of the general of the story.
Fos is kind of a serial fuck up, constantly fucking up.
Fos moving forward is the plot of this story, but later on we get introduced into a lot more points. A lot more things happening.
Very much so.
As opposed to Fos just trying to figure out a better job.
And we won't get all too spoilery here, but you want to move on to characters in development?
Yeah, let's go to characters in development.
We already hit a decent amount of it, but it's mostly about Fos, although you do get some other little story arcs and whatnot with these with all these other gyms and folks.
Yeah. Don't get attached.
They all kind of orbit Fos for the most part.
Don't get too attached to one gym in particular either, thinking that you're gonna get a whole lot from them, because you're not.
Yeah, there's I would say like there's maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 or so gyms that get like a solid, episode dealing with them. Like that you get a decent amount of information for. Then everyone else is just kind of everybody else is Hufflepuff. They just kind of pop up and they do things. And
there are 28 of these stones.
There are. And that said, the ones that have lines and that you see, you get to know their personalities pretty quick.
Yeah, a little bit. It's just you don't know anything else about them.
Perhaps, like, maybe the one you hear the least from, I would say, is probably Alexandrite, who they just call Alex. But, like, they're in there for, like, half an episode, and I know exactly who that character is.
Yeah, Obsidian is the weapons maker, and Obsidian gets, like, one line.
Yeah.
And they establish who it is. Though I kind of would like to know a little more.
I would love to know more about these characters.
That's one of my complaints about the show.
That's something we'll probably get to in the Genesee Claw. Yeah,
I didn't feel like I got to know many of them, but
the ones you do, even just one or two lines, you get to know them pretty quick.
Mm-hmm. The master gets a lot of development. The sensei,
good old sensei.
Fos gets tons. So obviously, she's the main character. Damn it, they're the main character.
I'm gonna stop calling you on it because it's just funny now.
Okay,
no,
I'm about to start letting you speak, dude. Because
all right, that's fine. I'll fuck it up.
I won't even call you on it, dude. I'll miss it. I just know. So Fos is the main character. They get a lot of development, obviously, and then you get pieces from Diamond and from Bort.
Bort's great.
Yeah.
I love Bort.
Who else we got? We got Cinnabar, of course, and there's one other. This is the name that I'm probably gonna butcher. Antarcticite.
Good enough.
Yeah. That character particularly does get...
Who is perfect and who has never done anything wrong.
That character actually gets about 2 episodes dedicated to them.
I love that character.
That's a good character.
It's a good character. There's a lot of fun stuff in there.
You want to talk about any development?
Honestly, one of my favorite things about it, not so much with the character development, honestly, it was mostly just like the way that each of these different gemstones, based on, not only what gem they are and their hardness and whatnot, but they have different little abilities. Bort is easily one of the most powerful fighters.
Yeah.
Very difficult to break. Bort, if you don't know, is basically diamond, but it's like, the diamonds that you're not gonna get in jewelry or stuff. Although actually, here's a fun one that I remember because my mom used to work at a jewelry store. For a little while, I think it was Kay's, was trying to sell chocolate diamonds, which are literally just brown diamonds, which are the cheapest, worst diamonds because no one wants them because they're fucking brown. But they called them chocolate and tried to pass it off as high jewelry. It didn't work out for them. That was hilarious. But Bort is like a really low grade diamond, but it is incredibly strong, and it is mostly used pulverized and used to make like sandpaper and other like, industrial grits and stuff. Very, very powerful, strong, hard to break rock. Very heavy hitter in this fucking show.
Yep.
Yeah, Bort whip a little ass. But yeah, there's some fun stuff with him. Obviously, we already talked about Cinnabar and how Cinnabar's whole deal is just the mercury and stuff. There's bits where you will actually see Cinnabar doing battle with these luminarians and just jumping in the air and spewing like a curtain of this highly toxic mercury essentially over them and just taking them all out. Mm-hmm. We also didn't really talk about how stupid powerful Sensei is. Because Sensei will say a word and kill these freaking luminarians. I'm gonna throw my freaking phone on the floor because it keeps buzzing because AJ's texting the group.
Yeah, good buddies.
Oh boy, it just keeps on buzzing. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in here. There's some really sweet combat in this thing, and it's also like very fun and funny. We'll get to more of that in a little bit, but yeah, I really like this show. It was fun.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Let's talk about that art and animation.
Yeah, so that's the biggest thing here. Is this show is very flashy.
It is absolutely gorgeous. It is fully
flashy.
CG.
Yes,
and it's, again, one of those where it kind of had to be. I wrote down here, it is stunningly gorgeous. The light effects through their gem-like hair and stuff, and that's one of the most shocking things about it, is that all these characters look pretty much the same, with the exception of, like, as far as how they are built, their bodies and everything look exactly the same for the most part. The big difference is their facial features and their hair, which is all whatever color their gem is and in different styles. And
which one was your favorite, dude?
Dude,
I liked Rutile.
Rutile was rad. I really, really liked the one that showed up at the end, which was Paprashka or something, which is a type of sapphire. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. This had this wild long hair that went all the way to the freaking ground.
It's got that Super Saiyan 3 hair.
Yes, very much so. But it was all like bright red and shiny.
Translucent red.
Yes.
The way they do the translucent stuff in here.
Yeah, and again,
that's
that's one of those things that I don't know how you could possibly do that well if it was 2D animated.
I think you could, and you could do it well. I think that it would cost a whole lot of money.
Yeah, so it makes sense that it is all CG.
Yeah.
Plus, like even like that first, if you just watch the first 5 minutes of this thing and you see that first fight with the Luminarians, like the way they jump and cut through these things, and then there's like the way they reform and they poof and like pieces come out of them. It's so pretty.
Yeah, everything in this show is gorgeous. It is gorgeous.
Absolutely
and
gorgeous.
the backgrounds look like they're Prismacolor or something.
Yeah.
They look very high end, like colored in. They don't look flat. They look colored in.
Yeah, and this was a thing that like
it's really pretty.
Again, I said that like in the manga you can see these panels and stuff and like, you know, how stark they are in black and white and how like wild the stuff they do is and how they translated that. You also had, based on that, concept art that you see as frame of concept art at the end of every episode that's like of a scene from the thing, and that concept art even is just absolutely beautiful.
It's really pretty.
It's so pretty. Like if it's not obvious, this bitch getting a 2 on art and animation.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, it's so pretty.
Another thing I would like to mention in art and animation, I guess this is the best place to put it, is there are some really dope fight scenes in here.
Oh, yeah.
Especially one in particular.
Was it with Diamond?
That
one got me. Holy
that fight
moly,
was
that was gorgeous.
Awesome, dude. There
man.
are some pretty sweet. Actually, the fight with Antarcticite too.
Yes,
it's pretty dope as well.
Pretty much everything Antarcticite does is dope.
This show, the best way I can describe it is flashy.
Yes, it's very flashy.
It's flashy and it does it so well.
It's flashy, but with a lot of substance to it, in such a way that like, yeah, I really enjoyed the whole thing.
Let's get on that soundtrack, dude, unless you got anything else for there.
Not really. I really enjoyed the opening theme to this one.
I actually did not care for the opener or closer of this show. I thought they were both boring.
I thought the closer kind of was like whatever. I thought the opening had a really nice mix of like kind of poppy cute stuff and also this very haunting melody. The way it starts out with the piano with the din, din.
I thought the opening would be better the whole time. I thought that it would be better if the vocal line would have been piano as well. If it had just been all instrumental, I think it would have been better. I thought the vocals were drony and boring.
Well, I thought they were. Yeah, I don't know about drony, but I thought they were fine. I will say that like the little interstitial bits of music I thought was really cool. Particularly in the first episode after that first fight. I was rewatching it in the dub, which is a major reason we're doing this right now because it is being dubbed currently.
Yeah,
it's up to like episode 3, I think.
Yep,
as we're
3
recording.
just came out.
Yeah,
I watched the first 2 dubbed so I could get a feel for it.
I watched the
first, and the dub
one.
is good. I will say that. I think it is good.
I was rewatching that first episode in the dub earlier today actually, and there's bits where like the music, like the way they do the fight music is. Any of the music that's not the opening and ending basically during the show is pretty rad. It kind of is reminiscent of some Final Fantasy stuff to me, like the way they like have the little dun, 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 like fight scene stuff, and then there's like a bit right after that where they're all just like in the field talking, and it's like this really happy kind of bouncy thing.
There's some really great orchestra pieces.
Yeah, there's some really good music during the show.
I like the music in the show.
That just opened and didn't do it for you.
Yeah, those just didn't do it for me.
I really enjoyed the opening for this one. I don't think I would put it in top. I don't think it would touch like top 5 of last year, but I thought it was good.
I don't think it would touch. Well, I mean, obviously,
you wouldn't.
I didn't think it was that great.
Eh.
I thought it was pretty though. And I just think it would be better if it was instrumental. But as far as the soundtrack goes, back onto the English dub just for a second. That cast is largely comprised of voice actors or actresses that don't even have a Wikipedia page yet. It's a bunch of new people. So I thought that it was really good for some up and comers.
Based purely on that first episode, I thought it was very well done. I'm really psyched about it because I didn't even look into who was doing it. I think that's really cool that we're getting some new folks. Good, build them up.
Some of them probably do have some more experience, but it's like I said, there's no Wikipedia page, and notably, most even like middle range voice actors and actresses have a Wikipedia page. So there's that. Let's get into that je ne sais quoi.
That je ne sais quoi. You got anything to say about it?
I have a little bit to say.
All right, go ahead.
I like this show. And I don't know that my score is going to kind of reflect how much I actually did like this show.
Oh, boy.
Because, my score I don't think is bad. But I really did like this show. I liked that the Neon Genesis feel to it.
Really?
Yeah, if you were a fan of Neon Genesis, you should give this a chance because it has that similar premise of something coming down from the heavens to destroy the creatures below.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And there is a lot of study in the way one feels and stuff like that. These gems don't know that well. So a lot of emotions and stuff are kind of being figured out. There's one point in particular where one of the gems is crying, and they'd never cried before.
Yeah.
And there's an explanation as to why. You got a Commander Akari moment there with an explanation why, and it was not a very satisfactory explanation. So it hits a lot of those beats, but. Oh, I mean, I thought it was really good, and it was really pretty to look at. What I didn't like, and what really killed it for me right now, at the very least, is that at the very last few episodes, they start packing in a ton of questions.
Yeah.
The first I would say first 8 episodes or so are pretty straightforward. You can follow the story pretty well. It's really fun, and then there's a moment where Sensei cracks the table. I will say that much. There's a moment, and you're like, whoa. It kind of throws something out there because Fo says something. She uses a word, and he is like immediately he recognizes the word and has a big reaction to it. And you're like, whoa! And then they drop it for a little bit, and then in that last few episodes they start picking up and just piling on questions. And I told Brandon that my cat hit my controller, and my stream paused, and I was like, oh, you bitch. And I look up, and it says episode 12, and the episode is halfway finished. And I immediately started to scramble. I closed down. I was like, I missed an episode.
Nah.
I thought that I missed an episode. That's how much information at the end that they don't give you. And it is left wide open. You're left with way more questions. It is
not a
than
completed
answers.
thing. The fact that it is apparently done very well, the manga is still like very big, and it is now getting a dub, suggests that we're going to get a season 2.
Yeah,
but
I would hope
nothing's
so.
confirmed yet. I really hope so.
This came out in 2017, and nothing is confirmed yet. Nothing is even mentioned of it.
It seems
yet.
like the kind of thing that like rumors were that like if we get an announcement at all, it'll be sometime this year. So
yeah, hopefully.
Let's hope so.
Hopefully. So, whenever we get into my score, you can add a point onto it if it gets the second season. Even though I still think you can add a 1.5 onto it.
Sure.
Okay. What do you got for your Genesequa, dude? I spit out enough there.
I will say that like we've talked a lot about how like you will see some of these gems get shattered. You will see a lot of fights. You will see a lot of that. I want to just throw out that like despite it being at times very serious and fairly dramatic, you get a lot of fun little humor bits in here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really,
show.
really fun stuff. Like Fos, the character, is just fucking hilarious at times.
Bit of an airhead.
Super duper airhead. There's a couple scenes where like, Fos is like basically given like some job or something, and you just see this character like kind of bent over, like sawing at like a log or something, just kind of like whatever, like with his goofy face on, and it's hilarious. There's many bits where like it'll do that like that cut to the joke thing where like someone will say something and then they just pause there for a second and then it just cuts and you see this person chasing them because how dare you say that to me.
Yeah, it's
fucking hilarious. There's a lot of really fun bits in here, and like overall the show, I found it just really endearing. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like despite being at times very serious and action packed, it still has a lot of fun little goofy moments. I will say that it ending on a little bit of a cliffhanger, not even a
little bit either,
like
dude.
just a straight up,
it just feels flat out unfinished.
Yeah, just flat out, this isn't the end, there is more and maybe you'll see it, is kind of a bummer. I will say that like one thing I told you and one thing I still feel about this is that so I've been watching this one on and off for the past couple weeks, and then obviously I finally finished it this week for the review. But during those first like few weeks when I would like take time off and like come back and watch an episode or two, I was really surprised once I finished it, like how much story they packed into these 12 episodes. Because there's a like, when I even thinking about it now, I'm thinking this thing happens, then there's this little story arc, then there's this little story arc. It really feels like there should have been more episodes that I watched.
And
because like how much happens, and yet it isn't over.
And that's kind of my problem with the back end, because a lot of those storylines going forward that they're packing in.
Yes, those last couple episodes just felt like they were setting up a bunch.
Feel less important too. The other stuff that you've been going through and learning about, it feels less important. Especially one character hits the back burn hard. At least for most of the show, they're on the back burn, and you would think that it's going to be a bigger deal than it is.
Yeah, maybe.
But the questions that get answered up towards the end are much bigger than the questions you get in the beginning. And the
hard to talk about this without getting spoiler.
Yeah, it's really hard.
But yeah, overall I did really enjoy it. And
yeah, man.
I think the scores will reflect that.
Yeah, let's get those scores.
Let's get on into them. So let's keep it the way we always do. I'll ask you, how'd you feel about the story and setting?
I gave it a 1.5.
I gave it a solid 2. I really liked it. I thought it was very original and very cool.
Yeah, I think it is original, for sure.
How'd you feel about those characters in development?
I gave it a 1.
I gave it a 1.5 on that one. I really, despite not getting a whole lot of information about anyone but Fos, I felt like there was enough about the others that I still am hooked into it.
Yep.
How about the art and animation?
It's a foregone conclusion, dude.
It's a solid 2, baby. You can't get away from that one. It's too pretty.
It's beautiful.
I feel like this one won't be too great for you, but how about that music?
I gave it a 1.
I gave it a 1.5. I thought it was fine. And how about that je ne sais quoi?
I gave it a 1.
I gave it a 1.5.
A 1.5? So what does that bring your score to?
That puts me at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5.
8.5? Mine is a 6.5.
Well, there you go.
6.5. So
nice little spread there.
Brandon is in the middle of Anna Most Definitely.
That's an Anna Most Definitely, yeah.
You're right in the middle of it.
It's a high Anna Most Definitely, I would say.
Yep. And then I'm right in the middle of Anna Maybe and Anna Most Definitely with my score.
Too many Anna somethings.
Yeah,
in there.
it's fine. I think if this gets more, I definitely would revise my score some.
Bump it up another point.
Yeah, but I felt kind of cheated by the lack of answers.
Oh, you act like you've never seen a season 1 of something,
dude. This doesn't say season 1.
Well,
this isn't something that's guaranteed another season. That is the thing with anime.
And yet
there are hundreds of good anime that come out, and people are like, this is definitely getting another season. Where the hell is the Devil is a Part-Timer season 2? It ain't fucking happening.
But you did like that season 1.
Hell yeah, I did, and I wanted season 2.
So you're gonna like,
but at least that one ended on a satisfactory note.
All right.
And this one doesn't, and it's just not guaranteed. And I will do my best, good buddies, to never let because I really did like this show, but I don't want to let it overcome, giving out the realistic, like, hey, this might not get more. Hopefully it does. I really hope it does.
I'm still salty about Bloom Into You.
I like this. See, that was what I was about to bring up Bloom Into You.
Yeah. I like this better.
I like this better than Bloom Into You.
Fair enough.
And I mean, it got a 0.5 better.
I'm still so salty.
But it is what it is. Good buddies. Next week we're watching Mob Psycho 100, the first season of it.
Yes,
we are covering it. Season 2 is out. Everybody's talking that mad hype about it.
So once that one finishes up, we'll cover season 2, obviously.
Yep.
But right now, we're going to talk about season 1 next week.
And I'm stoked.
No,
about
not
this
next
one,
week.
Dude. Not next week,
because we are taking a week off. My good buddy Roger has a wedding to go to.
Yeah, my sister-in-law is getting married, and on Friday, we usually record on Fridays. That Friday night, they are having a dinner.
I mean, I didn't get an invite. Whatever.
Oh, whatever, dude. Do you know Kat's sister?
No. I'll crash a wedding. I'll give a fuck.
And then that Saturday they're getting married. So I won't be editing or recording
a lot of single
this
girls real sad that they're
week.
not getting married. That's a easy picking, baby.
But when we come back in 2 weeks now, we'll be watching Mob Psycho. We'll be talking about it.
Mob Psycho 100.
100. I heard lots of good things about it. I'm super stoked.
It's going to be a good time.
Please leave us a like on the video. Please leave us a comment. Let us know your thoughts below because we want to hear what you think about
I want to know how you feel about it.
Or if you got questions about another show, anything that you want, just put it in the comments below. We will for sure respond to you. Hit up the Twitter. All those links are in the description below. And
just got to say, yeah. We have the full plugs later, but check out those.
We'll catch you next time.
Links.
Remember, tomorrow the ramble comes out, the ramble portion of this show.
If you're on the
where
YouTube,
we just start talking, that we start shooting the breeze, the breeze.
Oh, Jesus.
Take it easy,
but
good
for
buddies.
now, we'll see you around.
Goodbye.